driver in the Cup, back-to-back wins, the 2012 Sprint Cup champ here in studio the entire hour. But breaking news to bring you today, news from Hendrick Motorsports that Dale Jr. is out this weekend. Hendrick Motorsports confirming Dale Earnhardt Jr. will not race this weekend at New Hampshire after experiencing concussion-like symptoms. Earnhardt was evaluated earlier today in Charlotte and was not cleared by physicians to race. Alex Bowman, who has run part-time this season for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series, will drive the 88 car this weekend. A timetable for Earnhardt's return has not been established. This from Junior. I wasn't feeling great the week going into Kentucky and thought it was possibly severe allergies. I saw a family doctor and was given medication for allergies and for a sinus infection. When that didn't help, I decided to dig a little deeper. Because of my symptoms and my history with concussions, and after my recent wrecks at Michigan and Daytona, I reached out and met with a neurological specialist. After further evaluation, they felt it was best for me to sit out. I am disappointed about missing New Hampshire this weekend. Looking forward to treatment with the goal of getting back in the race car when the doctors say I am ready. His car owner, Rick Hendrick, also issued this statement. I'm proud of Dale for standing up. The #1 priority is his health. We're going to give him all the time he needs. We completely support the decision by the doctors. We'll be ready to go win races when he's 100%. In the meantime, we have full confidence in Greg Ives and the team, and we know they'll do a great job. We now welcome in NASCAR America's Nate Ryan for some analysis on all of this. Nate, let's first start with the question maybe no one has the answer to besides Dale Jr. When did this concussion occur?
Yeah, I'd say Dale Jr. might not even have the answer to that, David. As you mentioned there in the release that Hendrick put out, Earnhardt Jr. did crash at Daytona International Speedway and Michigan International Speedway in the past month. The Michigan wreck in particular was a heavy impact, but I think it's hard to say definitively right now which of those wrecks might have led to these concussion symptoms, if that was the cause of the concussion symptoms that he's having.
Right. Now, Nate, in his statement, he mentioned his history with concussions and with concussion-like symptoms. Can you give us a little background on that history?
Yeah, it's a pretty long history, Dave, and it's understandable why Dale Jr. would be so sensitive to this. Twice before, he has raced while hiding concussions. In 2002, he raced with a concussion for a few months after a hard wreck at Fontana, and revealed later that he had been suffering concussion symptoms for a few months during the middle of that season, but continued to race. And then in 2012, he was involved in a heavy wreck at Kansas Speedway during a tire test. He felt symptoms of a concussion from that crash, but he continued to race for 6 weeks. He was involved in another crash at Talladega, and that resulted in a concussion diagnosis that sidelined him for 2 races in 2012. Both of those situations, by the way, Dave, led to changes in NASCAR. The 2002 concussion led to NASCAR instituting new policies on drivers being cleared to race after they've had a concussion. And in the 2012 incident, NASCAR 2 years ago instituted mandatory impact testing, that's baseline testing, so that drivers have their cognitive ability and reaction time measured. So when they have a hard accident, a possible concussion, they can be measured against when they're normal to determine if they've healed enough to return to race.
It seems that at a point Dale Jr. may have done his own 180 on discussing these and bringing this issue out into the open. What brought about that change?
I think a lot of it was what he learned in 2012, Dave, about concussion treatment. I think in recent years he's really seen himself as the spokesman for those initiatives. He's recognized the importance of spreading awareness about it and being a role model of sorts. I think to younger generation, he talked openly earlier this year about wanting to donate his brain for concussion research later on, like many other professional athletes. I think that as he's matured, as we've seen this maturation process of NASCAR's most popular driver in many facets, this is another facet of that where he's become very attuned to how big an issue this is and how important it is that he addresses it properly.
Yeah, we have seen a much more open Dale Jr. in the last couple of years. Now, his health, of course, is first and foremost, but there are chase implications here. What are they?
Well, I'd say it's a 100% chance here, Dave, that Hendrick Motorsports will request a waiver that would allow Dale Earnhardt Jr. to still qualify for the Chase of the Sprint Cup despite not attempting all the races during the regular season. And I 100% chance that NASCAR will grant that based on past precedent. But now I think the question becomes, with this team being winless, and we knew they were trying to make the chase on points, how big of a hit will this be in points? How long will he be out? And will they still be able to rally to make the playoffs if they don't get a victory? Of course, if he returns during the regular season, has the waiver, and gets a victory and still top 30 in points, all that becomes moot. But if it's a game of trying to make the chase on points, trying to make the playoffs without that victory, then I think it becomes a little bit of a concern on whether this team still makes the playoffs.
Boy, it is a major story on so many levels. Nate Ryan, thanks so much for your input this afternoon, sir. All right, Jeff, let's discuss what this all means. Dale Jr. had not been running extraordinarily well in the last several weeks, but of course his health comes first and foremost. How serious is this for